Let me see.
Perfect.
Is this one. Okay, so this page was your homework. Well, in exercise 1A says complete the chart below with the comparative form of the adjectives in the box. As you can see, we have 3 columns. First one, adjective plus ER or IER. Second column, more or less plus adjective. And at the end, we have irregular adjectives. Okay, so let's see. The first column, adjective plus ER or IER. What do you have, Luis?
Bigger, easier,
Easier.
cheaper, cooler, easier, harder,
Yes.
noisier, quicker, older, slower, smaller, newer.
Newer. Okay. Then on the second column, we have more or less plus adjectives. Okay. So do you have this part, Karina?
More fun.
More. I think that one goes on the last, in the last column. That's irregular.
Oh,
Another one, another one.
more expensive.
More expensive.
More expensive. More important.
Yes.
More interesting.
Yes. What else?
More personal.
Uh-huh. So we have this convenient, expensive, important, interesting, personal. Uh-huh. There are more.
Oh my God.
Yes, there are more.
More difficult.
Yes. There are more.
Creo que se trajo esto.
There are 3 more. I think she's, yes, it's a problem with the connection. 3 more, Karina.
3 more.
Uh-huh.
More popular.
Yes, popular. There are 2. 2 more.
More. I don't remember more. Comparative.
Do you know which ones, Luis?
Yes.
Can you tell me? We have 2 more adjectives.
Less boring. Or more boring.
We have boring.
And useful.
And useful, less useful, more useful. Okay, these ones. Now let's continue with the irregular adjectives.
Worse.
Worse.
Better.
Better.
And funny. I don't know. I don't remember that.
More fun or less fun. Remember that one is an exception. It's an irregular. More fun. Less fun. Yes, that one is the exception. Well, now let's continue with the exercise below. Okay. Part B says complete the sentences with the comparative form of the adjectives. Here we're going to use the words in parentheses. Let's see, Luis, you're going to say from number 1 to number 4, and Karina from number 5 to number 8. Okay, let's begin, Luis, please.
Okay. Postcards are slower than email. Cell phone service is more expensive than regular phone service. Instant messaging is easier than text messaging.
Next.
I think e-cards are more convenient than regular cards.
Okay, thank you. Continue, Karina, please.
Number 5.
Yes, 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh-huh. I think you still have problems with the, oh yes, she left. She has troubles with the connection. So Luis, let's continue, Luis. 5, 6, 7, 8.
To me, regular photos are nicer than digital photos.
Uh-huh.
I think junk mail is even worse than spam.
Uh-huh.
It's more important to have a phone than to have a computer.
Yes,
Online newspapers are better than regular newspapers.
perfect. Okay, well, in letter C, we have a conversations. Let's complete the conversations. Okay, so you are the only one here. So Luis, continue reading, please.
I love my new laptop. It's so much better than my old desktop. But aren't regular computers cheaper than laptops? Yes, but they're more useful than laptops because you can take them to the library or on a trip.
Okay,
Well,
pay attention, Luis. I'm sorry to interrupt.
okay.
You're saying more useful, but pay attention to the second part. You're saying because you can't take them to the library. More useful?
Less useful.
Yes, less useful, correct?
Well, maybe laptops are cooler than desktops, but my big computer is quicker than most laptops. Yeah, but it's short. It's a lot heavier.
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 Okay, now let's continue with exercise 2. It says, look at the pictures and correct the sentences to match the pictures. Number 1, Jason thinks desktop computers are more convenient than laptops. Jason thinks desktop computers are less convenient than laptops. Okay, continue, Luis.
Sandra thinks e-cards are more fun than postcards. Sandra thinks e-cards are less fun than postcards.
Yes.
Robert's grandparents think instant messaging is easier than phone calls. Robert's grandparents thinks instant messaging is more difficult than phone calls.
Yes.
Jay and Son He thinks video conferences are more boring than long business meetings. Jay and Son He think video conferences are less boring than long business meetings.
Yes. Okay, now the last part, exercise 3, it says, disagree with the statements, okay? For example, number 1, I think VCRs are harder to use than DVD players. Really? I think VCRs are easier to use than DVD players. So continue, please.
To me, regular cameras take better pictures than cell phone cameras. Really? To me, regular cameras take worse pictures than cell phone cameras. I think radios are noisier than CD players. Really, I think radios are cooler than CD players.
Okay.
It's easier to understand a voicemail message than a written one. I think it's harder to understand a voicemail message than a written one.
Five.
It's hard when your cell phone doesn't work, but it's worse when your computer is broken. I think it's better to have no phone than to have no laptop.
Yes, you're right.
Number six, in my opinion, text messages are more popular than phone calls to keep in touch. Really, I think text messages are less popular than phone calls to keep in touch.
Okay. Do you have questions, Luis, about the homework?
No, teacher.
No questions. Okay. Let me see. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, let's review a little bit what we saw. Well, maybe you remember we learned some adjectives, I mean some comparative forms like quicker, slower, nicer, more personal, more convenient, less expensive. So what you're going to do, Luis, just to review, I want you to complete these 3 sentences. You can use any of these comparatives. One more time, we have quicker, slower, nicer, more personal, more convenient, less expensive. Or you can use any other adjective that you remember, okay?
Okay.
So let's begin with the first one, a text message.
A text message is quicker than alert.
Yes,
A telephone call is more convenient than email.
yes,
A cell phone is less expensive than a computer.
excellent, correct. Now, okay, so we have here another exercise. Here it says, write some sentences using comparative adjectives. Here you have the sentences and you have the adjectives, slow, cheap, expensive, personal, quick, interesting, and good. Okay, so once again, you're going to complete these sentences using your personal opinion. Okay, Luis?
Okay.
Okay, so let's begin, Luis. Email.
Email is quicker than regular mail.
Mm-hmm.
Webcams are more interesting than regular phone calls. Um, Letters are slower than e-cards.
Uh-huh.
Regular mail is better than email. Text message are slower than phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Video conferencing is less personal than a business trip.
Okay, could be. Well, let's go back to the student book. So let's continue on page 99. Yes. I remember it was in this part when you had the problem with electricity, right?
No.
No, I think you left here, right?
I have the exercise.
Did you do it, Luis?
Yes.
Are you sure you were here, Luis?
Yes.
Oh, because I remember that Jesus was alone that time. Okay, Luis, but this exercise, I remember the exercise 3, I did it only with Jesus because you weren't here and Damaris neither, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you only missed this one, the exercise 3. Well, exercise 3, it's about speaking naturally. It says linking. As you can see inside the box, we have 3 sentences. And in each sentence, we have some, how can I say, some syllables, some letters in red. And below those letters, we have a line below. As you can see with this line, we are linking, we're connecting the last letters of one word with the first ones of the second word. This is like this. For example, the first phrase, it says with email. That's the way that we read, with email. But one more time, pay attention. We have the line below. That line means that they are linked, okay? So instead of saying with email, we're going to say these words. We're going to imagine that we have only one word. Let's imagine that they are together. So it's gonna be like this, with email, like together, with email. Okay, so we're gonna do it little by little. Okay, Luis, let's repeat after me. With email.
Email.
One more time, with email.
With email.
It's easier.
It's easier.
To keep in touch.
To keep in touch.
With people.
With people.
But as you can see, we are not saying the words one by one. With email, it's easier to keep in touch. No, we're saying the words together. With email, it's easier to keep in touch with people, like that. Okay, so that's the reason why this is called speaking naturally. So one more time. With email, it's easier to keep in touch with people. Try to do it, Luis.
With email, it's easier to keep in touch with people.
Excellent. Now, once again, little by little. Text messages are?
Text messages are?
Less expensive?
Less expensive?
Than phone calls.
Than phone calls.
Okay. Text messages are less expensive than phone calls.
Text messages are less expensive than phone calls.
Excellent. Now, one more time. It's nicer.
It's nicer.
To get a real car.
To get a real car.
Than an e-car.
Than an e-car.
Okay, but don't do that. You said than an e-car. No, together. Than an e-car.
Than an e-car.
Excellent. So now together. It's nicer to get a real car than an e-car.
It's nicer to get a real car than an e-car.
Excellent, Luis. Okay, that's the reason why this is called linking. Now pay attention to the exercise B. In exercise B, we have 5 questions. In these questions, we're going to practice the same, okay? For example, in question 1, we have only one example, good at. Okay, let's repeat, good at.
Good at.
Okay, are you good at keeping in touch with people?
Are you good at keeping in touch with people?
Excellent. How do you keep in touch with friends and family?
How do you keep in touch with friends and family?
Okay, one more time. How do you keep in touch with friends and family?
How do you keep in touch with friends and family?
Do you use a cell phone every day?
Do you use a cell phone every day?
Do you ever send or get e-cards?
Do you ever send or do you ever send or get e-cards?
Okay, one more time. Do you ever send or get e-cards?
Do you ever send or get e-cards?
Excellent, okay. How often do you get instant messages or text messages?
How often do you get instant messages or text messages?
Excellent, Luis. Okay, now let's do this. I'm going to ask you these questions and you're going to answer, giving your personal opinion. Okay, Luis?
Okay.
So let's begin. Number 1. Are you good at keeping in touch with people?
Yes, I am.
So how, okay, number 2. How do you keep in touch with friends and family?
I usually use phone calls and text messaging.
Okay, by phone calls and text messages. Number 3, do you use a cell phone every day?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you ever send or get e-cards?
No, I don't.
Okay. How often do you get instant messages or text messages?
3 times a week.
3 times a week, correct. Well, Luis, this was the last exercise for lesson A. In lesson A, we started using comparative adjectives. So as you remember, with short adjectives, we're going to add ER at the end of the word. So we can compare, ER plus than. Example, email is quicker than regular mail. It's nicer to get a real card than an e-card. And for long adjectives, for example, expensive, personal, difficult, boring, we're going to use the words more or less before the word. Example, letters are more personal than email, video conferences are less expensive than trips. And we also have some irregular adjectives. For example, good, we don't say gooder, it's better. Bad, we don't say badder, it's worse. And we have an exception with fun. Even when it's a short adjective, we have to say more fun or less fun. So, questions, Luis, about the lesson A?
No, teacher.
No. Okay, so we're about to begin with the lesson B. Well, Karina is not here. She still has some problems with the connection. Okay. Before going to lesson B, here we have some questions, okay, Luis? The first one is, do you ever have problems when you are trying to call someone or when you're trying to have a phone conversation?
No, I don't.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Sure, sure. Mhm. I don't believe you, but okay. So let's think in general. What are some possible problems?
Um,
Think about problems that you face when you're trying to call someone. What are some possible problems that you could have? I'm gonna give you an example. It happens sometimes that you are making a phone call, but you've got the wrong number.
oh.
Yes, so you call to another person by mistake. Okay, so that is a problem when you've got the wrong number. Another possible problem, Luis, when making a phone call?
No signal. Signal.
Okay.
Don't have credit.
Yes, you're running afraid.
Mm,
Uh-huh. Honey.
maybe voicemail.
Yes, that's another problem. Well, now, number 3 says brainstorm specific reasons to call someone. So tell me some reasons why you call someone.
To help.
To ask for help?
Yes.
Okay, another reason?
To talk with this person.
Okay, you just want to have a conversation. Uh-huh. More?
Um,
To check your homework?
yes.
Yes, to check the homework maybe. Okay, it could be. Let's see, let's continue. No, okay. Let's move to the lesson. Okay. Oh, Karina is coming once again. Let's see. On time. Well, as you can see here, Luis, we have lesson B. It's called On the Phone. So remember, we're talking about problems that you can face when trying to call someone. So you already gave me some examples. So pay attention here. As you can see, we have this guy. His name is John. John is trying to reach Sandra, but he's got a lot of problems, okay, trying to reach Sandra. So I'm gonna play the audio. I want you to listen to it, and at the same time, you're going to follow these conversations, okay? Luis, Karina? We're on page, we're on page 100, Karina. We're going to start with the
Thank you.
listening. Okay, so let me look for the audio.
100.
Page 100.
Okay, listen.
Lesson B. On the phone. 1. Building vocabulary. A. Listen and read. What problems does John have getting through to Sandra? 1.
Sun Company.
Could I speak to Sandra Bell, please?
One moment, please.
2.
Sandra Bell is on the phone. Please leave a message.
Hi, Sandra. This is John. Call me back at the office. 3.
Sandra Bell.
Hi, Sandra. It's John. Did you get my message?
Yes, I think so. Oh, hold on. I have another call. Call me later, okay?
4. Village Bakery. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I have the wrong number. No problem. 5.
Hello?
Hi, Sandra. Guess what?
Hello? John? I can't hear you. We have a bad connection. Call me back on my office phone.
6.
Sandra Bell.
Sandra, listen. My boss has 2 tickets to... They're cut off.
Okay. Well, Karina left again. That's too bad. She still has problem. Well, let's see. She just left. We're going to practice together. Okay, Luis, this conversation.
Okay.
So in number 1. Okay, I wanna do it like this. In all of these short conversations, you are going to be John and I'm going to be the other person, right?
Okay.
Okay, so let's begin number 1. Some company.
Will I speak to Sandra Bell, please?
One moment, please. Number 2. Sandra Bell is on the phone. Please leave a message.
Hi, Sandra. This is John. Call me back at the office.
Okay, number 3. Sandra Bell.
Hi, Sandra. It's John. Did you get my message?
Yes, I think so. Oh, hold on. I have another call. Call me later, okay? Number 4. Village Bakery.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I have the wrong number.
No problem. Number 5. Hello.
Hi, Sandra. Guess what?
Guess what? Hello, John. I can't hear you. We have bad connection. Call me back on my office phone. And number 6. Sandra Bell.
Sandra, listen. My boss has 2 tickets to... Oh, we got cut off.
Cut off.
Cut off.
Okay, now let's switch roles. Now I'm going to be John and you're going to be the other person. Okay, Luis?
Okay.
Let's begin. Number 1.
Some company.
Could I speak to Sandra Bell, please?
One moment, please.
2.
Sandra Bell is on the phone. Please leave a message.
Hi, Sandra. This is John. Call me back at the office. 3.
Sandra Bell.
Hi, Sandra. It's John. Did you get my message?
Yes, I think so. Oh, hold on. I have another call. Call me later, okay?
Number 4.
Village Bakery.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I have the wrong number.
No problem.
5.
Hello?
Hi, Sandra. Guess what?
Hello? John, I can hear you. We had a bad connection. Call me back on my office phone.
And number 6.
Sandra Bell.
Sandra, listen. My boss has 2 tickets too. Oh, we got cut off. Now, according to this, Luis, can you tell me what problems John had getting through Sandra?
Bad connection.
Yes, we have a connection.
Wrong number.
Uh-huh.
Mm, 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 mm. The receptionist? I don't know.
Yes. Answer. Number 1, the receptionist answers. Uh-huh.
The voicemail?
The voicemail. Perfect. Okay, now let's move to the exercise P. It says find these expressions in the phone conversations and write them in the chart. Then practice with a partner. What can you say when you hear a lot of noise on the line, start a voicemail message, ask to speak to someone, call a stranger by mistake, and want someone to return your call? So you can read again the conversations, find the expression, and write it down in the correct place. Okay, let's do it, please.
Okay. I finished.
Excellent. Oh, Karina left again. Yes, she still has problems. Well, let's see. Let's continue with you, Luis. The first question is, what can you say when you hear a lot of noise on the line?
I can hear you. We had a bad connection.
Okay. When you start a voicemail message,
Uh, Hi Sandra, this is John. Call me back.
yes. When you ask to speak to someone,
Could I speak to Sandra Bell, please?
yes. When you call a stranger by mistake,
I'm sorry, I think I have the wrong number.
and want someone to return your call.
Call me back on my office number, office
Excellent.
phone.
Yes, correct. Questions so far, Luis?
No, teacher.
No? Okay, perfect. Let's see. Okay, in exercise 3, once again, we have a conversation. It says, listen to the conversation John and Sandra finally have. Why was John calling? So, as you remember first, Hi, Luis, I can't do that.
Aquí,
Luis,
maestra.
I can't do that, Luis.
¿Y los
I
alumnos?
did it.
Fíjate, nada más.
What? Are you gonna take the class with your son?
Pues si vas a tomar la clase
Luis,
conmigo.
are you gonna take the class with
Voy a
your son?
comer. Le digo, voy a comer.
Are you gonna eat? What are you gonna eat, Luis?
Puras fallas. Adiós.
Bye, Luis. Nice to see you. Bye, bye. Your father. Okay, well, let's see. Where were we? I got distracted with your father. Okay, once again, remember in conversation 1, John had some problems trying to reach Sandra, okay? Here in this conversation, well, he finally, okay, Karina is in again. He finally had a conversation with Sandra. So one more time, let's listen to the audio, Luis, and follow the conversation at the same time.
Okay.
Hi, Karina, are you back?
Page 101.
Okay, listen.
2. Building language. A. Listen to the conversation John and Sandra finally have. Why was John calling? Finally! It's hard to get a hold of you.
You're not that easy to reach either.
You spend a lot more time on the phone than I do.
That's because I get more calls.
You just talk more. Anyway, I was calling before because my boss had free tickets to the Sting concert tonight.
Oh, great. What time?
Well, too late now. Gave them to someone else.
Oh, no. Why didn't you send me a text message?
Okay. So, why was John calling?
Because his boss had free tickets to the Sting concert tonight.
And what happened to the tickets?
He gave them to someone else.
Yes, you're right. So let's see. Karina, are you here? Karina. Karina.
Yes, I think.
Yes, I think. Okay, Karina. Well, we are on the second page. As you can see, we are in exercise 2A in the conversation. Can you see it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we're gonna do this, Karina. You're going to practice this conversation with Luis. Luis, you're going to be John, and Karina, you're going to be Sandra, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's
Okay.
begin, please. Let's begin.
Finally, it's hard to get a hold of you.
You're not that easy to reach either.
You spend a lot of more time on the phone than I do.
That's because I get more calls.
You just talk more anyway. I was calling before because my boss had free tickets to standing concert tonight.
Oh, great. What time?
Well, it's too late now. He gave them to someone else.
Oh, I think she left again. Okay. Oh no, why didn't you send me a text message? Okay. Uh, okay, I think she's not here once again. Okay, well now let's change roles, Luis. Now I'm gonna be John and you're going to be Sandra, okay?
Okay.
Let's start. Finally, it's hard to get a hold of you.
You're not that easy to reach either.
You spend a lot more time on the phone than I do.
That because I get more calls.
You just talk more. Anyway, I was calling before because my boss had free tickets to the Sting concert tonight.
Oh, great. What time?
Well, it's too late now. He gave them to someone else.
Oh no. Why didn't you send me a text message?
Excellent. Correct. Well, now let's pay attention to the exercise B, Luis. It says, now look at these sentences. Can you find sentences in the conversation with similar meaning? So we have three sentences. Number one, I spend less time on the phone than you do. Number two, you get fewer calls than I do. And number three, I talk less than you do. So in this exercise, you're going to look for sentences with similar meanings here in the conversation. I just want you to underline the examples that you find, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so let's do it, please, Luis.
Ready?
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, for number one, what do you have?
You spend a lot of more time on the phone than I do.
Okay, number two.
That's because I get more calls.
Okay, number three.
You just talk more.
You talk more than I do. Okay, so I have some exercises, but first of all, I want you to look at something. Well, here below, we have the grammar chart, Luis. In the grammar chart, we are using more, less, and fewer. And as you can see, we have 3 different columns, okay? In column number 1, it says with countable nouns. Number 2, with uncountable nouns. And number 3, with verbs. Okay, let's begin with the first one. It says, I get more calls than you, or I get more calls than you do. You get fewer calls than I do. Here we're using more and fewer with countable nouns. In this case, we are using calls. Well, calls, it's countable. We can say a phone call, 2 phone calls, 3 phone calls, etc. Okay, so this is a countable noun. So with countable nouns, we can use more or fewer, okay? That's the opposite. Then on the second part, we have uncountable nouns. As you can see with uncountable nouns, we're going to use more or less. I just spend more time on the phone. You spend less time on the phone. In this case, time, it's uncountable, yes? And at the end, we have verbs. With verbs, we're going to use more or less. Example, she talks more than he does. He talks less than she does. So we are comparing an action. We're comparing verbs. In this case, the verb is talk or to talk. So once again, let's remember, with countable nouns, we're going to use more or fewer. And with uncountable nouns and verbs, we're going to use more or less. Do you understand this part, Luis?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, well now let's repeat after me, Luis, please. I get more calls than you do.
I get more calls than you do.
I get more calls than you.
I get more calls than you.
You get fewer calls than I do.
You get fewer calls than I do.
I spend more time on the phone.
I spend more time on the phone.
You spend less time on the phone.
You spend less time on the phone.
She talks more than he does.
She talks more than he does.
He talks less than she does.
He talks less than she does.
Okay, pay attention. Here we have a little box. It says in conversation. According to this, we have the fewer is not very common. People use it more in writing. Okay, so that is a little note. Remember, it's more common in writing, okay, or written English. I think I have some exercises. Let me look for them. Okay, here I have more examples, Luis. Okay, in these examples, well, we're using more and fewer, remember, with countable nouns. So we're using books and letters. They are countables. Example, Alicia reads more books than David. David reads fewer books than Alicia. Alan writes more letters than Joaquin. Joaquin writes fewer letters than Alan. So we have countable nouns, one more time, books and letters, okay? We said that with uncountable nouns, we're going to use more or less. In this case, we're using money and free time, okay? They are uncountable. We're talking about money, we're talking about time. That is uncountable. Can you read the examples, please, Luis?
I spend less money than you do.
Mm-hmm.
You spend more money than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Lucy has more free time than Janet.
Mm-hmm.
Janet has less free time than Lucy.
Then Lucy, okay. And at the end, it says more and less with verbs. In this case, we're using sleep and talk. So once again, can you read it, please?
I sleep less than my daughter does. My daughter sleeps more than I do. Laura talks more than Simon. Simon.
Simon?
Simon talks less than Laura.
Okay. So, do you have questions, Luis?
No, teacher.
No. Okay, so we have this part. Okay, here it says make 3 true statements using the following cues. So what I want you to do now is to write down 3 sentences using this information. For example, in number 1, you have get, emails, letters. Example, I can say, I get more emails than you. Or I get fewer letters than you. This is an example. Okay, so, well, in this case, I want you to use your notebook or on a piece of paper and write down, okay? Just 3 examples, please.
Okay, teacher. Ready.
Ready, okay. So let's see, number 1.
I get more emails than you. I use the phone more on weekends than you.
Okay,
I spend less money on a cell phone than you.
okay, correct. Well, now let's pay attention here, Luis, to this exercise. Here we have 2 situations. It says Debbie made 5 phone calls last night and talked for 45 minutes. John made 2 phone calls last night and talked for 30 minutes. So according to this, Luis, tell me who talked to more people last night, Debbie or John?
Debbie made more phone calls than John.
Excellent. Number 2, who talked to fewer people?
John talked to fewer than Debbie. Fewer people than Debbie.
Okay, John talked to Talk to fewer people.
than Debbie.
Debbie, okay. Number 3, who spent less time on each call?
Debbie spent less time on each call than John.
Yeah. Who talked more on the phone last night?
Debbie talked more on the phone than John.
Yes, correct. Excellent, Luis. Now let's move again to the student book. Okay, so we are here, Luis. Okay, let's do the exercise below. Luis, it says, what's your style of communication? Make true sentences with more, less, or fewer. Okay, Luis, let's do it, please.
Okay. Ready.
Ready. Okay, so number 1.
I use a regular phone fewer than a cell phone.
I use. Okay, pay attention here, Luis. You're saying I use. You are talking about an action, a verb. With verbs, we need to use more or less.
Okay.
So,
I use a regular phone less than a cell phone.
excellent. Number 2.
I spend more time on the phone than my parents do.
Number 3.
When I'm on the phone, I talk less than I listen.
Number 4.
I make more calls during the day than at night.
Number 5.
I get more phone message than emails
Okay, messages.
messages.
Messages. Okay, number 6.
I do more text messaging than instant messaging.
I do more text messaging than instant messaging. Okay, and number 7.
Um, I write
Uh-huh.
less letters than I did 2 years ago.
I write less letters. Okay, but pay attention here. In number 7, Luis. Okay, we have an action, right? But you are talking about the letters. That is countable. So I write
Fewer.
fewer, yes,
Okay.
letters than I did 2 years ago. Perfect. Okay, that's it. Okay, well, okay, this is the last exercise of letter B. It's really short, this lesson. Okay, Luis, so this was the lesson B, okay? In lesson B, well, the grammar was about how to use more, less, and fewer. So try to remember for countable nouns, we're going to use more or fewer. And for uncountable nouns and verbs, we're going to use more or less. So I want you to tell me, Luis, what did you learn in this lesson?
New grammar.
New grammar, what else?
Uh, to use more, fewer, and less.
Yes, how to use fewer and less. Do you remember the first activity, I mean, of page 100? What did we do?
Vocabulary.
Yes, we have vocabulary. Perfect. Okay, so you have questions, doubts about this lesson, Luis?
No, teacher.
No questions. Now let's talk about the homework for tomorrow. Okay, so the homework is gonna be the lesson B. We have pages 76 and 77, okay?
Okay.
So that's the homework. Pages 76, 77, lesson B. That's it. Okay, Luis, well, that's it for today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your